Warning, this episode contains strong language or mature themes. Parental discretion is advised.
I always like to listen to music.
So do I.
I brought my tapes. I'll just set it in, and now we push this button.
Welcome to This Podcast is Uncalled For.
What's uncalled for about it?
What we doing at Tijuana?
You met a girl, didn't you? I was like, oh, how did you know? He's like, oh, because it always happens. It always happens. It's the only stupid reason that you would ever drop the ROTC, because of a stupid girl.
And then look, thank you back home.
Oh, that's going to be great for the football charts.
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I can think of 100 right off the top of my head.
Is paid a genre?
So it just, a lot happens behind the scene that people don't know about. Like, it's hard for the average voter to understand how much of what they think is their democracy is decided by faceless people to them. You know, you and I know who's making these decisions.
There you go. These are the kind of discussions we have. Fortunately, we're both fairly level-headed people. Again, we're looking at each other in the eye. We're not going to say anything derogatory to the other person. And, of course, neither of us is drunk.
Take me to Gay's barbecue.
It's a bit of a slap in the face and insults.
But you didn't even give him a chance for a wild card spot.
And the look on Mike's face.
They love big boys like you.
It's kind of, what is that character from Guardians of the Galaxy who takes everything literally? The people are out there, like, they could have taken it literally.
Yeah, we're crazy people and we love what we do, and so we just keep creating regardless of how hard it can be sometimes.
Thank you, and thank you for having me on your podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
And remember, no you.
That is uncalled for, Michael.
And now, your host for this podcast, Mike Chernevsky.
I have a lot more on this tape. Here. Listen to this.
Well, the name of this podcast is Stuff Uncalled For?
This podcast is uncalled.
Podcast, all right. Well,
And all y'all, subscribe and like and comment and subscribe.
Yeah.
I said it.
Fuji!
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the podcast. Braden's here with me, and I am pleased to have with us here today Sam Tady.
Hey, how's it going?
Tady Brothers Productions.
Right. Tady Brothers Productions.
Now, Sam, I remember the first time that we met.
Yeah.
It was a very beautiful, starry night. We were underneath the bridge somewhere in the West Bottoms, and we were chasing after this particular girl.
Yeah.
I remember specifically just because you were hanging out of the back of a van with a camera just screaming, "Get her! Get her!
Yeah.
Get her! Oh, she's turned to life! Go get her!"
Yep. That was, man, that feels like ages ago.
It really does. Gosh. What was that, like 21?
Yeah, 2021.
Yeah.
That's when we started shooting Industrial Evolution.
Industrial Evolution. And
Yeah.
that's for a sequel for
That's for a sequel to our sci-fi film that I did a few years ago in 2020 called Under the Sun. So this is the second part of an original sci-fi series that I'm aiming to do 3. So this is the second one, and it'll come out this fall. Knock on wood.
So, I just watched it for the third time today.
That's awesome.
Oh, nice, man.
Yeah.
That's cool.
I love it because it's like it's a very bold story with like real like human topics. Like, if you get what I mean. Like, because the whole aspect of the whole deal is based around these cybernetics, right?
Mhm.
Like, would you care to explain?
Yeah, sure. So the main story revolves around the not too distant future. There's a pandemic that happens with the ozone layer like being depleted, so now everyone gets like skin cancer really easily. We would just call it sun sickness. And in order to survive it, whenever a piece of your body gets infected, you lop it off and replace it with a cybernetic bit, an augmentation. So there's the augmented people, and then there's the non-augmented people. and because there is a shortage of food, the non-augmented people need a scapegoat, so they just blame the people that are slightly different than them. And from there, all the shenanigans and drama that usually comes to blaming a group for no good reason happens.
Where would you get that? Where in this world would you find that?
All of human history. It is a tale as old as time.
Exactly.
And you're certainly not the first filmmaker to think about, say, cybernetic creatures.
Yeah.
You certainly won't be the last. I mean, I've done it. Jason Turner has done it. Yeah.
It's just like it's ripe for reinterpretation, because then you get to make cool props and shit. So it's fun. Yeah.
Now, of course, I've known Sam even longer, going back over 10 years. Yeah, we were at JUCO together.
Yeah.
We were in JCAF together, and is you, me, Richie Wolf. Richie, we need to get you on the podcast.
Oh yeah.
Ryan was there too.
Ryan Schreiber.
Stephen Tafoya.
Zoe Allen.
Yeah.
Bill Butts. Man, he was
Bill
decaf,
Butts,
but he was still.
Bill Butts, friend of the podcast. Bill
Yeah.
Butts. Friend of the podcast, Justin Pemberton.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, it feels like so long ago. But man, because I stopped working in Johnson County here recently. 2022 in April is when I had left, and then I guess technically I'm still on the staff as like a part-time regular for just like when they need me. But yeah, it's crazy that was like pretty much I left high school in 2011, and I'd been there ever since until just now. So
wow,
yeah,
it's kind of set there.
More or less. I mean, they gave me a job that paid all my bills, and I liked it, and I liked the people.
And
so
what
I
was your
just kinda
position
stuck
there
around.
again?
I was a senior videographer / editor. So I worked for their TV station there.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be clear, the actual TV station, not
not the student
TV,
news,
but
yes.
we did work student
we did
TV.
The student TV, I was there for a year.
Yep.
And then for the last 9.5 years, I'd been at JCCC TV.
All right.
So, yeah.
All right. And just for the record, yes, I did apply for the job in question. I didn't get it, but it was in good hands with Sam. So.
Yeah, well, it happens.
He's totally not salty about it
at all. No, not at all. Not at all. It gave me the opportunity to do more freelance stuff. And Joe Petrie and Molly Baumgartner did hook me up with one freelance job, shooting a guy's calf roping.
Hey, there you go.
So,
man, that's, yeah.
But fun times doing JCAV.
Any wild stories at all, or?
Well, one of my favorite videos that Sam did for JCAV is still on their YouTube channel, and that was the thing that you and Bill did at Planet Comic Con.
That was fun. So it wasn't supposed to be one. We were just kind of we wanted to get into Planet Comic Con for free. And if we had a press pass, we could. So we had one of the other staffers just make us press. He could do what do you call those? The barcodes. So when you scan them, they actually show up as things.
Oh.
So he did press passes for us.
He can mock those?
Yeah. It was pretty awesome.
Genius.
So he got those for us, and I remember it was crazy because we went to. I had to go to work the night before, and I was scheduled to pick up some equipment for that weekend. The lab closed early for some reason, or I wasn't able to get there. I can't remember. Somehow or another, I wasn't able to get there. So I ended up using my handy cam, and I went out and bought a microphone and this just way too thick XLR cord with a 1/8-inch plug-in that we had to ghetto tape up to make it work.
The gaff tape
and
all that.
Yeah, and it was great. We had a good time and got to. I'm a big fan of Chuck and Firefly, and it was neat being able to meet
Adam Baldwin.
Adam Baldwin. Yeah. So
I saw some of the raw video that. Hey, how's it going? You doing good in school?
Yep.
Getting good grades.
He's a cool guy. So,
Yeah.
no, that was fun. Me and Bill had a blast doing that. It was good times.
Yeah. Earlier, speaking of JCCC ties, I've had Chris Hertz on a couple of times, and
nice.
we talked a little bit about your video, and the way I worded who all you interviewed, it sounded like, at least to Chris, it sounded like, Lou Ferrigno played the original Black Power Ranger.
What?
Yeah. What?
That was a Hulk.
Yeah. Lou. So just so we're not confusing everybody, Lou Ferrigno played the Hulk in the 70s. Bill Bixby's Bruce Banner. And it was Walter Jones was the actor who played the original Black Power Ranger, and you happened to interview both.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah.
No, it was cool. Well, like I said, it was a good time, and we tried to get George Takei, but his people didn't let us get near him.
So I've heard.
Yeah.
So I heard. Takei's manager was kind of a dick.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I actually went to Comic-Con this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I got in the last minute with a friend. It was the first time I'd never been to Comic-Con before.
Yeah. How was it? I missed this year.
It was actually fascinating.
Yeah.
A lot more BO than I expected.
Oh, you should expect the worst.
Yeah. Somebody should have told me that going in, because I know a lot of people like put effort into their costumes, especially my friend Grace, who she went as like a full Tomb Raider outfit. She went like the older video game with the crossbow, and she's like all rugged and stuff.
So much time in their costume, they forsook their shower time.
Yeah, there was a couple people. Seriously. But there's a couple people who surprisingly took measures and like managed to fit a whole fan inside their suit. It was like,
oh, damn,
genius.
Well, darn,
genius.
Damn,
that's awesome.
But I went there and there was so much amazing art there.
Yeah.
Like I keep forgetting how crazy good the art in the city is, especially with like small vendors and such. Like I got a small little metal poster that had Harley Quinn on a Harley.
Nice. That's
Harley
cool.
on a Harley. That is right above my piano in my studio right now.
Nice.
But the craziest thing is, my friend pointed this out when we went there. So William Shatner was the star of the weekend.
Of course.
Everybody was there in their Star Trek uniforms.
Yeah.
His line was like all the way down to the door pretty much. But the ironic thing that kind of shook me a little bit was that there was an actual female astronaut at the table right next to him.
Wow. Wow.
There was only 3 people in her line.
Oh my gosh,
Isn't it ironic?
I know, no kidding,
like,
man.
I mean, I'd get all the questions.
Her. Shit, she's like been to fucking space.
Yeah,
she's like
so had Shatner
to go to. Oh yeah, I guess he just recently.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've both been to space. In that case, they're.
But nowadays, everybody's gone to space nowadays. Come on, like jeez, like all the questions you would ask William Shatner, like film set as an actor, but like. I didn't know what the heck to ask her because I felt like I was going to ask just some of the dumbest questions.
But what's space like?
Hey, what's the deal with those space peanuts? Like,
right.
What am I supposed to do?
Yeah, Shatner was there. Frakes was there. Jonathan Frakes.
Yeah.
Brent Spiner was there. Again, I didn't go. I wish I would have gone, but
it's
a good lineup.
Yeah, that's a heck of a lineup. Yeah, Commander Riker and Data. Data / lore / anyone named Sun.
Yeah, every Sun ever.
Yeah. And going back to that video, I know Will Wheaton was also at that particular Comic-Con, but he politely declined to be on. But you still got a photo with the guy.
Yeah. No, he was really cool. He, like I said, he was just kind of hanging out there, and we caught him on a break, and he just talked with us, visited with us, and everything, and he was cool. I like him. I like watching the what do you call it, Ready Room that he hosts.
Yeah.
For the Star Trek shows.
Yeah.
Did you dress up at all?
When I went, I went as like a different doctor every time.
A different doctor.
Who.
Oh,
and my black leather jacket with my V-neck jumper, and then the next day I went as David Tennant with the pinstripes. And...
Did you use some of your Sherlock attire for the occasions?
No, I didn't.
No?
I think I wasn't. I was in between shooting Sherlock films at the time. I was. I think all my costumes then, I was at the latter end of, it's actually another series that Bill was in. I was doing Doctor Who fan films at the time. So I still had some leftover stuff there and a bunch of sonic screwdrivers and stuff, and it was good.
Allons-y.
Allons-y.
I really need to get into that series. Just the acting and some of that is like...
Doctor Who, when it's good, it's the best. And when it's bad, it's like the worst thing ever. There's
like from what I've heard, like the earlier stages when it was kind of looking more like DIY and such... That's what I've been told. At least.
Yeah, no, you're 100% right. And there is when the script had to be good for you to be able to like look past that.
Gotcha.
And to their credit, some of those things, though not the non-lost episodes, really still hold up. Especially when you get to the like 70s and early 80s or late 70s, early 80s with Pertwee and Tom Baker, like those episodes always still hold up for me. But honestly, so I guess it's until they switched to the new the producer. Man, why can't I remember his name? But he basically ran it from like the mid '80s onward. John Nathan Turner. That's when, honestly, I think it starts to get a little shaky.
Yeah. There's always a shaky period. Like honestly, I think it could be the same effect with like how I was with the Power Rangers as a kid. Like those old Mighty Morphin Power episodes, you could tell how low budget they were. But the story was like straight on track and bold, and it didn't really matter that much. Yeah, it was the same effect.
Yeah, I remember meeting. I think this was the next year, John Ratzenberger.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
nice
guy. Oddly enough, podcast related, because I was doing Winning Side at the time, and had lost of my predictions and had to be punished, and that was my punishment, was to get John Ratzenberger's autograph. Really nice guy and everything. Good. But who are some of the other? Because I know you did a couple of other celebs other than whom we've already named.
Yeah.
So.
Man, to be honest, it was so long ago. I barely remember.
I've been through so many celebrities. I can't keep track of them.
No, it's just a couple.
Just I can't remember.
Just a couple. I recently watched. I recently watched the video.
Yeah, you have the. I haven't seen it for years.
So Tom Kane was one.
Yeah.
Old Yoda. For those unfamiliar, he did the voice of Yoda for Star Wars cartoons. I think.
For the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Daphne Ashbrook was another one.
From the Doctor Who movie in '96.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was in one episode of Deep Space Nine.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was when she was a member of an alien race whose native planets had very low gravity. But in our gravity, she had to be confined to a wheelchair or have some sort of help walking around. And interesting concept, and interesting allegory for how our society treats people with disabilities. So, and when sci-fi is done right, that's what it is. It's allegory for real world problems, and Trek does that quite well.
That's all art is. It's just a reflection.
But
yeah, trailing back to Sherlock Holmes, you just finished filming on.
Yeah, it is my. Let me see. So,
I lost Scandal,
Cycle, Problem. It is in my official series, the 6th one. Woo. There's one I made in high school. I don't necessarily count as canon, even though it doesn't ruin anything if you do.
Oh, yeah.
But it's the 6th one. So it's actually kind of weird. It's the 6th Sherlock Holmes film, but it's a new series. So Sherlock Holmes, for anybody, spoiler alert, who hasn't watched my series, which I imagine is most people, he died at the end of Final Problem. So instead of wanting to, the author, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, wanted to kill him off there, and then he tried to write some other stuff, and nobody wanted to read any of it. They wanted more Sherlock Holmes, so eventually he had to bring him back. And when my brother and I set out to do our series, we wanted a definitive end where we're like, well, let's just do it like Conan Doyle did it and just kill him where he's just dead. There's no way he can come back. So we like got rid of all the different. We took some of the book, The Empty House, and put it into the final problem, so that we cut off any chance of him being able to come back. We cut out all his escapes and stuff, and then we ended it, and we were like, cool, we're done with it. And of course, I couldn't stay away because I love Sherlock Holmes. So I was like, I'm playing a different version of Sherlock Holmes now, and this series is called The Casebook of Sherlock Holmes, and the episode that we just finished shooting. Hello.
See ya.
Hey. Hey.
I'm just creeping.
Oh, sorry. We're shooting a podcast.
Oh, my bad.
You never know who you're going to run into at unlabeled music services.
But we just wrapped production on this episode's called The Sussex Vampire. So, be pretty cool. And it was my my baby daughter's acting debut because she got to play the baby in it. So, that was cool.
That's so adorable.
Yeah.
We love baby debuts.
That's awesome.
Is there any specific reason you have such an interest in Sherlock Holmes, or?
Yeah, well, I was introduced to it through my aunt and uncle and my parents through the Granada series, the 80s series with Jeremy Brett. Just kind of fell in love with it ever since then. And, well, it was a combination of that series, and then before that, Wishbone had done a few Sherlock Holmes episodes, 2 of them, Hound of the Baskervilles and Scandal in Bohemia. And then the Jeremy Brett series, and just when I got into high school, it corresponded at about the same time I was getting into filmmaking. So my high school one that I like sort of kind of count as in the series is I did Hound of the Baskervilles as a 45-minute episode when I was 17. So
a 45-minute 45-minute video for me at 17, like coming out of a Kansas school where the teacher was literally the assistant football coach, and he was just there for the fucking paycheck. Like, that blows my mind. Yeah, honestly,
it was fun.
You like fully edited it and everything. It was ready to.
Yeah, I mean, it's. If it weren't for the poor sound quality and the just not understanding how color works, it would have been good. But I didn't know those 2 basic things, so it is what it is. Yeah. I'd love to eventually remake Hound of the Baskervilles. That's my goal, is to make it again, but with a budget.
Oh yeah,
so, when you're holding auditions.
Yeah, definitely.
We've got we certainly have the talent here in this town.
Yeah.
Where did you go to high school?
Baser Linwood High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yep.
Tongy fiend over here.
Oh, well, there you go.
We can get along at some point.
We're cousins.
Yeah, we're kind. Yeah, in a way. Yeah,
we're county cousins.
County cousins.
Yeah.
And speaking of cousins, I know your actual cousin, Chris.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So Chris used to work at Coda for
Mm-hmm.
the longest time, and I actually started going to Coda because of Clint.
Mm-hmm.
Clint and I met doing Chasing Eden, and then we tried to do Cannon's Place after that, and that leads us to John Keck, whom we're trying to get on the podcast too. Chris is a good guy.
Yeah, he's freaking cool. He and his brother Matt recently started up the Cosmic Toddy Brothers band again, so they're doing some more music and stuff. Pretty sweet.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I recently saw Chris at the Ship. Is that what the place is called?
If it was down on...
It's in the West Bottoms, yeah.
I was down in the West Bottoms.
Yeah, well, down in the West Bottoms, and John was actually playing that night. So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So, Chris was attending bar. And
cool.
It was great to see him, too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So...
It's a great music venue. I know me and my hip-hop group are trying to get a gig there, but we know that it's a lot of, rock shows there that happen. But there's, a couple rappers that come around there.
Yeah.
Eventually. I know my buddy King just went to some, WWE wrestler / rapper that went there or something like that. But, he was, bringing a bunch of funk to the stage, and he had such an energy to him. It was we need to book this place, and hopefully this crowd comes too.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
And I mentioned high school, of course, Shine Mission West.
Yeah.
For me. So, and I happened to be a freshman during the senior year of some dude named Sudeikis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And of course, the basketball coach was Donnie Campbell. And Donnie Campbell also taught geometry there. And guess who had him for geometry?
There you go.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. It's not like I knew Sudeikis or anything because, again, he was 3 years ahead of me.
Yeah.
And West is a pretty big school. So
You're talking about Jamie Sudeikis, right?
I'm talking about Jason.
Sorry. I didn't hear the first name, so I didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course, Paul Rudd went to that school too, but he was like 10 years before me.
Fair enough.
So,
was he like? Didn't you say Paul was a freshman when Jason was a senior, or it was like
no,
vice versa?
Paul would have been class of '87. Jason was class of '94.
Okay.
And I have yearbook evidence of this.
So you were.
I was a freshman.
Freshman. So what year did you graduate?
97.
97. Okay.
Yeah.
I think Paul Rudd was in The Great Gatsby around that time, the made-for-TV version.
Yeah.
I
with
keep
Toby
forgetting
Stevens.
that.
Maybe that was 2000 or 2001. It was around that
He had
time.
done Clueless my freshman
There we
year.
go. Yeah.
And that was all over the school newspaper.
Nice.
And everything. But what I remember him most for is his appearance in Friends.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Yeah. He played Phoebe's future husband.
That's when he really got a big break, right?
Yeah, I would say that would probably be his big break. And now they're both involved with that Big Slick thing, and we'll try to work something out to get them on the podcast. I just need to stop being lazy.
Fair enough.
Right? But we had some other famous people there. The band Thulium or Anything But Joey, they all went to West. In fact, their drummer, Jeff Polacek, who's been on the podcast, but I've known him since 8 years old.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And Mac Roby, the singer, was in Campbell's class with me.
Cool.
Along with another friend of the podcast, Jared Feldman. Yeah. And Brian Chesson, the guitarist. Not only was I friends with him at West, I recently got to teach his son how to play chess.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyway, another thing I wanted to ask about. Remember that short film we did shortly after finishing at JUCO? Richie directed it. You were playing the vampire. And
yeah. I'm trying to remember. Blood. It was called Blood. Yeah. Yeah. We shot over at the Westport Chapel.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, that was cool. We got to. That's the first place where I found that location, and I have since used it in Sherlock Holmes. But no, that was a blast. I loved doing that. I liked being able to act in somebody else's film where I wasn't, having to think about everything. I just kind of got to look cool and hiss with vampire teeth.
Just get to sit back and relax.
Literally serve the blood of Christ.
Exactly. That was cool.
And I played the parishioner who stood up as you were fleeing.
Like, hey, you!
Hey, you! Yeah. Yeah.
No, that was fun, man. It was good times.
Yeah. Yeah, I myself rented that chapel out for a Tales shoot.
Nice.
Yeah. And what was really nice is we were sandwiched between two weddings, and we had to run all along, so they were gracious enough to let me finish what we're doing inside, and then we moved everything outside.
Hey, that's awesome.
And just up the hill there is one of the schools I do chess at, Notre Dame de Sion.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. At first, great kids, very well behaved and everything, but then they switched it from before school to after school, and then the troublemakers started coming in.
You got a whole day to lose your manners, I guess. So.
Yeah. But the staff at Notre Dame de Sion, just great people.
That's
and
awesome.
that's what brings me back right now. It's just getting to work with those people.
Nice.
Anything. So, yeah.
So you have any affiliation with working for schools? Because it sounds like that's what most of our careers were.
No, I kind of just, as soon as I got out of there, I stayed.
You went to school and you were like, I'm done.
I went to school. I attempted school.
Hey,
sadly, like both of the colleges that I went to, the first one cut their theater program not too long ago, and the second one, which was a university, which I'm not going to name, Missouri Western. This is an interesting story. So I can't remember exactly what happened, but about a week in to when classes started, I was already there for about a month doing RA training, which don't be an RA in college unless you're really, really desperate for the money. Because good God, worst job of my life. But no, like a week into classes, we get word that, hey, in a couple years, we're going to be phasing out the entire arts program.
Oh, man.
Like, what? And this made no fucking sense to me whatsoever because they had just built, like 5 years ago, a massive building just dedicated to the arts with a huge theater, a black box theater, a nice auditorium, like 4 choir rooms, 2 band rooms, and the entire upstairs, the second level, was just full of art studios. And not only that, they were also, I got word that they were planning at some point to start a digital production program.
Yeah.
So like any sort of production that goes through technology or a computer, it would be in that subcategory.
It's just a funding cut or something, or
apparently it was a funding cut, and the president at the time booked it to, I think, somewhere along the lines of the University of Colorado in Japan.
What?
Yeah.
What?
He went to an American university. He dropped as many like courses as he could to save money. Cut himself a big check, then book it to another job in another American university in fucking Japan.
There you go. Learn from the best when it comes to scam artists, I guess. Shit.
Like, seriously. It's fucking, dude, like, I don't remember the name of the guy. I don't bother to care because, like, good God, I'm just saying, I do regret going to college most of the time, but, like, the rare moments that I don't regret college was in the theater and music. Because
fair enough.
Those teachers that I had, if anything, those were, it's not like I get it, I'm kind of a person, like, if I'm not interested in something, I'm not going to do it. But it was also because of the fact of most of these teachers just did not give a fuck. They're just here for the paycheck. And I mean, like, you can't blame some of them because teachers get paid jack shit nowadays.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. Criminally.
Yeah.
Like, my buddy had to quit being a substitute just because it was barely doing shit for him. But, like, when you're able to, like, express something and, like, change people's minds over that, like, yet you're giving somebody a full fucking scholarship to go, like, hut, and run a business later on.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck? It just doesn't make sense to me personally. It just doesn't make sense to me.
The sports scholarship and the putting the sports programs on pedestals has never really made sense to me if your main goal is academia. But I mean that's what makes money, so people go with it. Like every college is still a business.
It's still just
even if it's funded by the state or the Fed or anything like that. I mean, they're still. I once looked at the salaries of some of the higher ups just to like figure out what they made. I was curious because based on what I was paid, I was curious what the highest ups were paid, and I know that the president of the college that I looked at is paid just slightly less than the president of the United States.
Wow.
Yeah. Like by a few tens of thousands of dollars, but it's like comparable. Or like they would bet,
stupid.
Which, like, I mean, hey, if you can manage that kind of thing, maybe that is what it's worth. I don't know. I admit I have no idea if that's actually what it's
I
worth
could
or
just
should
be
worth.
I could just be the grandpa in the room, just like saying, "Who needs to throw balls to make money?"
But I mean, at the same time, like, I don't know, you should pay your employees give them full-time jobs or pay them well with benefits.
Like, if you're claiming everybody should follow their dreams and pursue whatever career they want to choose, then you need to give every career opportunity the same chances, the same, like, stakes.
Yeah, I mean, no one should be working a job where it's not a livable wage. If it's a job and you're making money on it, you should be able to feed your family, or at the very least yourself if you're by yourself.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't live in that kind of society.
Unfortunately.
No, we do not.
But on the flip side, I don't know what kind of society would facilitate that, because all I know is the one that I was born into, and for all intents and purposes, I think I like it. But it's just because I've only seen from the outside other places, and other places kind of look rougher. So maybe it is just a little too much complaining on my part. Maybe I just bitch too much, and I should just be more grateful for when and where I was born.
Honestly, I feel like you do got to get the bitching out at some point.
Oh yeah,
just
I mean,
to
what's
appreciate
the point of talking if you can't complain?
Yeah, exactly. Like the stage is you got to bitch and complain first, and then talk yourself through it.
Yeah, exactly. So and then find out that you probably were a little harsh.
What was reasonable, and what was I just being a petty bitch about?
Right. Exactly, and we're all guilty of being petty bitches every once in a while.
Oh yeah,
so true.
Especially some of the people in Under the Sun.
Well, all the bad guys.
All the bad guys.
So at the very least, go watch Under the Sun at Tady Brothers Productions on YouTube.
It's sick as fuck.
Like, share, and subscribe.
That's right. All right. Now, you talked a little bit about Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And you're a big Doctor Who fan as well.
Love Doctor Who.
Yeah, that's a sci-fi franchise I never really could understand myself. Aside from the Daleks are the bad guys. Going, exterminate. Exterminate.
Love Daleks.
So for those of us not inclined in that universe, just give us a brief intro.
You just want me to summarize Doctor Who?
So, I mean, I know the bullet points of it. Just
do the best that you can.
Give us what you think.
An ancient alien who's called the Doctor, and his race he's a Time Lord. He has a ship that he called the TARDIS, called Time and Relative Dimension in Space, is what it stands for. And he basically can travel anywhere in time or space. So you get, at the beginning of the episode, they're on that one set, and then you step out the doors, and then you have to pay for various planets and different stuff to be able to produce the show. So you can literally do anything with it, and that's why I think it's been so successful over the years. You can go to any place in time and have any kind of story that you want in it. And then when the actor gets tired or needs to move on or whatever, they have this ability to quote unquote regenerate. So if they're dying, they just change their body into a new actor.
Was that that at all an original thing set into the show, before they knew they were going to switch doctors?
Well, it was they knew they were going to have to switch when the original actor, William Hartnell, was starting to get old and sick. And they're like, well, what do? We don't want to reboot it or just be oh, it's the same guy, but here's a different actor playing the same incarnation. The producers and writers just came up with the idea. It's what if we just build that into the show so that this show can last 100 years? So every time he dies, you just bring in a new actor, and that's the new lead for the show for 3 or 4 seasons. And they're on number 14, and they've only recycled an actor once and brought him back, which is currently.
That was very surprising to me. It was
where they had David Tennant come back as the 14th Doctor.
Because I knew the basis of the whole deal. Once you die as a Doctor, you can't normally come back. So when I heard through little clips that I find on YouTube that David Tennant came back, which I do respect him hella as an actor.
He is one of my favorite Doctors. Chris Eccleston's my favorite. But David Tennant's my second.
Yeah.
So.
Alonzi.
But I think what happened there was a ratings drop, and they had to figure out how to bring people back to watching it.
Right.
Because
were people upset that the Doctor was a woman for once?
I think some people were. In my personal opinion, from watching the episodes, I think the writing just wasn't as good, and they cut the budget on. And this is just speculation, because when Stephen Moffat and Russell T Davies was running the show, they had a crap ton of advertising all the time. And then in these like last couple of seasons, I think the BBC cut down the budget because instead of 13 episodes, it went down to 10, and you didn't see a lot of marketing for it. So I think it was a case of just like the money had to come out of somewhere, and they took it out of the marketing budget. So it wasn't as propped up as it probably should have for being a flagpole show.
Probably didn't distribute your eggs into the right baskets enough.
That's my feeling for what the actual drop was. That and then the stories were hit or miss. There were some like amazing episodes with Jodie Whittaker as the Doctor, and then there were some that just felt like they were afraid they were losing people, so they just went like full member berries on a few episodes. And just brought back like, oh, here's like all the old villains and companions that you used to love, and here's like 10 doctors in one episode kind of thing, and you're like, okay, that's a cool concept, but you can only like use that load every once in a while.
Yeah.
I think it ended strong, and that was good. In their last like not last two. Their last Christmas special I thought was awesome, and then their last season finale that they did as a feature length film I thought was really good. Looking forward to see what they do next. But they brought back the original showrunner who rebooted in 2005, Russell T. Davis, and Davis brought back his favorite Doctor with David Tennant. So, and then they got partnered with Disney Plus, so now they have Disney Plus money. And it's going to be streaming exclusively on Disney Plus. So instead of BBC America, and then BBC will have the rights for that. I've watched too many videos and read too many things.
The budget on that show is going to be crazy.
I'm really excited to see what they did, because honestly, with the last 3 seasons, what they cut in budget for like marketing and everything, they swapped to new cameras and made it look super cinematic, and it looked really neat. So I'm curious what happens when they like give them the budget to do all of the things they want to do. And Russell T. Davis is an awesome writer, so I'm excited to see that.
Definitely gonna be exciting to see.
Yeah. Hopefully they put the first episode in theaters. They sometimes do that with a season opener. They'll put the new episode at a Cinemark or an AMC or something.
Okay.
Fingers crossed they do it again. I would love to see it in theaters again.
I might have to catch that and actually get into the series as well.
Honestly, this would be a good place to start.
Yeah.
Every time a new showrunner comes on, they never reboot it. It's always in the same continuity, but those are good starting points where they re-explain everything.
Okay, so it's kind of like a refresher.
Yeah, exactly.
It's nothing like you have to go back to each and every Doctor just to get the whole story.
Basically, they start a new storyline,
Mm-hmm.
And they'll have a new companion come on, and because they're the audience surrogate, he explains the concept of everything to them. So if you catch it there, you're fine. You don't have to watch like the last 60 years of stuff. So now's a good time to do it.
About to get on that.
By the way, I like how you slipped a little South Park nugget in there.
Yep.
With the member berries. So, yeah.
But yeah, that's Doctor Who and the more than you needed to know about the current show right now.
That's 2 South Park episodes in a row.
That's 2 recordings in a row that we've been referencing South Park, because we did our 100th episode last week.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, we did a lot of South Park references there too.
Nice.
Yeah.
We're just going to nonchalantly add more South Park references in each time until we get Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
That's amazing. Yeah, my fiance and I are obsessed with South Park. We love it.
Dude, I seriously got... I need to meet those 2 specifically because I have such a good musical idea.
Yeah?
It's called My Friend Drew Needs to Get Laid.
Okay.
It was a dumb idea me and my buddy had in college where me and him got tipsy one night, and then he's just like, bro, I'm not gonna lie, I don't get as much ladies as most of these fellas here, but I'm chilling. Like, what's your take on that? I was just like kind of like in a state where I was maybe on a little.
You were elsewhere.
I was elsewhere in the cosmos,
riding the pink elephants. The dragons were flying around the room.
Yeah,
it was a good time.
But then I just like nonchalantly said like, We can make a song about it.
There you go.
Like, we can make more than a song about it. We can make we can make a musical about it. Just like, I could just see it all. I could just see it all in my eyes right now. Just like, drops open up. Like, having a serious, somber conversation, like, with the audience. Like, you know, friends are important. You do anything for your buddies. You could go out and have your back with them. Just go on and on and on about how close they are, and then all of a sudden, boom, lights come on. Hi, I'm Braden. This is my buddy Drew. He really needs to get laid. Da 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 da.
Opening number.
Opening number. You can't tell me that's a Tony winner right there.
Story of my life.
Sounds awesome. Yeah. I'd watch it. I'd pay to see it.
Yeah, I'd pay to see it. Yeah. I'd wait till it comes to Kansas City to see it.
Nice.
Just give him the movie rights right now.
Like, yeah. Let's get a movie going. I could write a couple songs for a short film right now, but
write some songs, get the choreography, and dude, that'd be fun. I've always wanted to do a musical, honestly.
Really?
Yeah. I just playing tomorrow at the Birdwatching Film Festival, and this weekend at the First City Film Festival. I just did a World War II short called The Siren Stratagem.
I was going to ask you about that. I had that in my mind because you had my buddy Ray on there as well.
Yep.
RG3, which we're going to get him on here at some point as well.
And we, I love having music in films where someone's like singing in it or there's like a performer. So I kind of built this film around having a nightclub singer who's played by my friend Debbie Diesel. And we had my friend Kai.
That's a stage name right there.
Oh yeah, no
Debbie
kidding.
Diesel.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I'd go to a jazz bar for that.
He wrote the song, and then Debbie sang it, and my friend Carly recorded it, and then we had her do her lip sync to her own song on the day when we were filming it. And it was cool. That was my first time doing something that was that all-encompassing with music involved. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of like my first step forward into eventually I would love to do a musical. So, we'll see. Maybe down the line, man. Start writing some shit about Drew needing to get laid. And
I'll start writing some stuff down. I'll start writing some stuff down. I might actually get my buddy Drew to hop on the project too.
Well, he needs to hop on to something, it sounds like. Or something needs to hop on top of him. I don't know which one.
Hey.
Whichever way it goes. Doesn't matter.
Out the gate! That was uncalled for.
Turn back around to the name of the podcast.
There you
go.
Gotta get the plug.
And of course, we've had a few actors that have worked with you on the podcast. Patrick Poe, Jessica Whitfield, probably a couple of others that come to mind, but you know who I'm talking about. They all awesome. Speak very highly of you.
Oh, well, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Y'all are amazing.
And
I love working with people in town.
Yeah, I've also heard Patrick's podcast, the First Timers Movie Club. The one with the one that you were on.
Yeah, Ghostbusters. I had never seen Ghostbusters before. Well, I'd never seen the original Ghostbusters. Mm-hmm. I'd seen all the other ones.
I've seen two.
I've seen two. The remake, the Afterlife, and the cartoon. I just never watched the first movie.
Yeah. It's mind-boggling.
I just was never something that interested me at the time, and then
that's the theme of this particular That's the thing of that particular podcast is they're showing each other movies. One's seen it, but the other hasn't. Or they'll bring more, like in Sam's case, they'll bring someone who had never seen that particular movie.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You just need to do that sometime. I'll bring in a Quentin Tarantino movie for you.
Have you seen Quentin Tarantino?
I have seen Pulp Fiction.
Okay.
Not a fan.
He's not a fan. I gotta hound him about it.
Inglourious Bastards you need to watch.
At least give Inglourious Bastards a chance.
Yeah, Django Unchained is so good. Man. I think that one's probably my favorite is Django
I think he just announced that he finished the script for his last film.
Yep. Mm-hmm. The Movie Critic is what his title is for
it's actually called The Movie Critic?
I thought so. I thought that's what I read. Maybe I'm insane.
I thought the title of the headline said "Movie critics prepare for Quentin Tarantino's new film.
That's entirely possible.
Yeah.
I skimmed the article and then just watched a video where someone talked about it.
What if it is just movie critics?
Reading's hard.
Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio just come in like, okay, here's the deal with your movie, all right? And then all of a sudden, like, ninjas come flying in at the back door. Who knows?
I don't know, man. I mean, I liked Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but not as much as the other ones. It was kind of more of a day in the life kind of film. Yeah. It was less of a. I don't know. The movie didn't. The plot didn't really start until the third act, in my opinion. But also, plot to me is just when the action happens. So, like,
yeah,
who knows? I thought Django.
But sometimes like the films are built around the action. Like in Reservoir Dogs, you don't see the main robbery. We just see like the aftermath and such and such.
Yeah, and that's what was genius about that film and how they got it greenlit. So.
Yeah, and did you ever read about how Quinn's decision on the ear cutting scene?
Where he like wanted to do it, and Harvey Weinstein was like, "We need to cut it," and he was like, "Nah, man, we gotta keep it in."
Yeah, but like they were saying, like he should keep like the ear cutting in, but what Quentin wanted to do was have that pan away shot and just kind of have to let the audience's imagination take over for itself. Which I never thought about that until I heard it.
Yeah,
that was way more powerful because I'd already seen like a bunch of people getting their ears cut off in films and such, and we know it's fake, but like now it's kind of forcing you to think it in your head in a sense, and now. Anything that was more personal.
It's like all the old horror movies where it was the stuff that you didn't see that was the scariest.
Exactly.
And for definitely had nothing to do with they didn't have the money to do it.
Yeah. But, the scariest place was out of frame.
Yep, exactly. So yeah, no, it was cool. It's dude's never made a bad movie. I like some of the other ones.
Oh, yeah.
Compared to the recent.
Hey, we'll see what.
But I also think that just like now times they're like you were saying that movies are a reflection. That's where he is in his point in life, where he's interested in kind of looking at that kind of nostalgia. Whereas, for me, I probably like the stuff in the '90s because that's when I grew up. So
it's a nostalgia movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's
and I kind of myself.
What unfortunately drives most things in life, and including my own thing. I need to get like here, man. I was feeling like an old man. I'm almost 30, and we're like reminiscing about high school and college and stuff. And I'm like, man, those memories are strong.
So. Glory days.
I'm in my mid-40s.
There you go.
Yeah. And in fact, that's what's kicked off this podcast. When I turned 40 and got bored and needed something to do, so someone I was working with said, "Well, why don't you write a book?" And I went, well, I don't feel like writing books, so let's do a podcast. Because I've done a couple of those by this point. So, yeah, and a lot of people think it's a movie podcast because, again, a lot of filmmakers have been on the podcast. But again, that's the community that we're in.
Yeah.
And
we're looking to get artists of all kinds around here.
Yeah. And non-artists too. I mean,
got to get a few paralegals on.
Yeah.
I know a couple of lawyers.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the
if we can get a lawyer for workman's comp on the show, that would be beneficial for me.
And for me right now. So
it's the same knee for you. It's my left knee as well.
Yeah. So
dude, my right knee keeps trying to kill me.
Dude, it's always the knees. I mean, it was kind of a just injury for me because like I was carrying boxes in like a warehouse job, and like this warehouse never kept on the trash team. They never got on the trash team, so trash was just left everywhere. And there was a strap on one of the pallets that was like pinned down, and it caught on my foot, and then I tripped. I couldn't break my fall, and then I just right on my knee on the concrete.
Listen all these fucking old men in here just bitching about our knees. Like,
my leg!
Of course, my knee, the initial injury was a football injury, but just a couple of days ago, had a bit of a slip and fall doing DoorDash.
Dang.
Landed right on my knee. It's currently bruised. I've got a brace on it, but I'm able to walk. I'm able to walk okay right now. So.
But
good. As long as you ain't uncomfortable, my guy.
Yeah.
We're all up and about, so.
Yeah.
Knock on wood so you don't get it.
Yeah, shit. I don't need that shit.
None of us need that right now.
Need that bad mojo.
Right. So yeah. Mental note. Let's get Richie on the podcast at some point. All right. So let's go and try and wrap things up. Yeah. Do you have any closing thoughts for us?
What do you got coming out?
Yeah. So I got some wares to flog here.
Lay it all out right now. You got the world at your hands, bud.
Like I said, I got a World War II short film that's going to be at the Birdwatching Film Festival tomorrow at 7:30. And then
Just to clarify,
I imagine you'll have missed it at this point if you're watching it. Yeah. It was at the Birdwatching Film Festival at 7:30.
I'm going to put a timestamp on this. We're recording this on March 21st, 2023.
Yes. There you go. So. And then First City Film Festival this weekend as well, and on the March 27th, the Monday after that, that's when it will be on YouTube on Tady Brothers Productions. So search Tady, T-A-D-Y, Brothers Productions on YouTube, and you can watch it there. And then coming out here this fall and winter, we're going to have the Casebook of Sherlock Holmes, the Sussex Vampire, and Industrial Evolution, our sci-fi film. And then I have no idea what I'm going to do next. I have like 3 or 4 scripts brewing, but also I'm a father, so I need to do parenting and fatherly duties and fiance duties because I'm getting married next year. So
all right,
that's my project I'm working on.
That's the marriage. That's the real project there.
Yeah, that's
right.
The
Hold
good
it
stuff,
at the Pilgrim Chapel for all we care. Yes.
That's
exactly.
That's like the biggest collaboration.
We had talked about it for a second, so. No, that's going to be the best collaboration.
Yes,
so
the best collaboration.
I'm ready for it. It'll be fun. But yeah, that's all I have to sell right now.
All right.
Alrighty. All right. Thanks for having me on, guys. This has been awesome.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah, let's get Richie on here. Let's get a few more of those JCAF
people.
Man. JCAF, ECAF, Letcher. Let's get them all on.
Let's make a musical,
all
bud.
the calves, and let's do a musical.
Yeah, and let's do a musical.
Drew
Yes. Sorry, Drew.
All right. Yeah, so that's going to do it for Braden and myself. We will talk to you next time.
See ya.
This podcast is Uncalled For is hosted, produced and edited by Mike Chernevsky. Opening music is I Thought You Were Cool by Holy Yesna CC0, licensed under a Creative Commons 0.1.0 Universal License. The outro music for this episode is Devonshire Waltz Allegretto by Kevin MacLeod at Incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 4.0 license. The co-host for the podcast is Braden Shryock. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast through your favorite podcasting platform. Like our Facebook page at facebook.com/uncalledforpodcast, and check out our blog with show notes at uncalledfor.home.blog. If you are in the United States or Canada, you can call us at 816-832-5160. Leave your message or question for us, and if we like it, we will play it on the podcast. Please support the podcast and purchase our exclusive Uncalled For merchandise. T-shirts, sweatshirts, mugs, stickers, and so much more. Go to www.cafepress.com/uncalledforpod. Thank you so much for listening. We will see you next time.